Hey first graders, so today my video is going to be teaching you a little bit about measurement. So I know we didn't do too much on it, but we're going to refresh our memory. You are going to learn about non-standard and standard, but today I'm here to teach you about standard. We have standard measurement form because when we're measuring something here in Louisville, we use inches, and there are a couple other ones, but today we're talking about inches. But we use inches so that if somebody from another place around our country, like in New York or North Dakota or California, when they're measuring the same thing, they'll get the same answer because we all use the standard form of measurement. And here we use inches. Okay, so we can measure things that are small and big. And we have different tools for things that are small and big. We also want to make sure that we get the exact measurements. So we start from 0. And the small thing that we use, starting from 0, is our ruler. So you can see here, it starts at 0 and it goes all the way to 12. So there's 12 inches on a ruler. We'll talk about the other numbers at a different time. But you can see that the bigger gaps on the ruler, those are inches. For next up, like if it's a little bigger than our ruler, we would go to a yardstick. And you can see that there are the bigger gaps here on the yardstick. 1 starts at 0, so we always start at 0. Always start at the smaller number. And we work our way up, and this goes all the way up to 36 inches. So you would use this to measure something that's a little bit bigger than the ruler. And the last tool I have to show you today is a tape measure. Now my tape measure looks a little different than yours. You're probably used to seeing a tape measure where you can pull it out, push a button, and it sucks it back in. And I didn't have one of those today, but I have something similar, okay? So today this will be my tape measure. And we want to use this for when it's too big for a ruler, too big for a yardstick. Now this tape measure, like I said, it might be different, yours at home, but mine goes up to 60 inches. So our 3 tools that we have are a ruler, a yardstick, and a tape measure. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around the room in our classroom, and I wish you all were here with me. I can't wait till we're all here together. And I'm going to find 3 things to measure. And I have my tools with me, and I want you to do this at home with 3 things that you have at home and let me know. All right, if you don't have these 3 things, if you only have one, just use the one to find 3 things with, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna start over here. We read over here and do calendar all the time. And I have a Junie B. Jones book here, so I'm gonna measure that. I think it might be too small for my tape measure, so I'm gonna put that down. I could probably use the yardstick because of, it starts at 0 still, but I think it's still, too big to use. So I'm gonna use my ruler. And I'm going to remember, start at 0. Line it up and start at 0. So you can't start at the middle of the book. You have to start all the way down and line it up at 0. And it looks like it's at 8 inches. So my book is 8 inches. All right, and then I'm going to do the calendar while we're here. And I'm going to use my yardstick because if you put a ruler, that's too big for a ruler, even if you start. Now, if you wanted to, you could always mark it and move it. But since I have a yardstick, I'm going to use my yardstick. Remember, line it up and start at 0. So I'm going to line it up, starting at 0. Make sure it's lined up all the way across. And it stops at 24 inches. So my calendar is 24 inches long. And the last thing I want to measure is something over here, so come with me. We all know and love this little guy in our classroom, our giant pencil. Now, again, my ruler is too small to measure the giant pencil, so this time I'm gonna pull out my tape measure. And I'm not gonna start at the end, at the bigger number. I'm gonna start at 0, and I'm gonna line it up. So I'm gonna start here at the end, line it up all the way down. And look at that, it's just 60 inches. That is cool. So what I want you to do at home again is I want you to find 3 things that you can measure. And if you want to measure more, that's fine. And then let us know what you find. See you later.